కూర్చో వస్తున్నా మేడం ఒక నిమిషం వస్తున్నా.
You only sitting there. You only sit there. Why? I will open it. I will open it. Yes.
This link is only for panel 2 persons. So panel check.
Everyone
are given with the 5 minutes duration. And please be ready with your PPTs. After the PPT presentations, there will be questions from the participants or from us.
Good afternoon.
Sir, 802 present. 802 is present. Yes, sir. Sir, can you see my screen? Good afternoon, sir. Respected chairman of the session and delegates. First of all, I am thankful to the organizers for providing me opportunity to present my paper here. The topic of my presentation is conformal screen on light-like hypersurfaces of indefinite Ken-Motsu space form. The object of present paper is to study the properties of conformal screen on light-like hypersurfaces of indefinite Ken-Motsu space form with LM type connection. Before giving my results, here I want to describe some introductions. A linear connection delta bar on a semi-Riemannian manifold M bar G bar is called an LM type connection given by DH gene. If delta bar and its torsion tensor T bar satisfies these two conditions, where L and M are two smooth functions on M bar and J is a tensor field of type 1,1 and theta is one form associated with a smooth unit vector field J, which is called the characteristic vector field of M bar given by theta x bar equal to G bar x bar J. By direct calculation, it can be easily seen that a linear connection delta bar and a LM type connection is satisfied the property delta x bar y bar equal to delta x bar y bar plus theta y bar Lx bar plus M Jx bar, where delta is the Levi-Civita connection of a semi-Riemannian manifold with respect to G bar. Actually, this LM type connection is the generalization of different type of connections by giving some particular values of L and M. For example, if we consider L equal to 1, M equal to 0, then the above connection delta bar becomes a semi-symmetric non-metric connection. And the notion of semi-symmetric non-metric connection on a Riemannian manifold was introduced by Agassi and Chaffle and later studied by several authors. And in case if we take L equal to 0, M equal to 1, then the above connection becomes a non-metric phi symmetric connection such that phi x bar y bar equal to G bar J x bar y bar. And the notion of non-metric phi symmetric connection was introduced by Jean in his paper 678. And if we take L equal to 1 and M equal to 0 in first equation and L equal to 1 and M equal to 1 in second equation, the above connection becomes a quarter symmetric non-metric connection. The notion of quarter symmetric non-metric connection was introduced by Golab and then studies by Sen Gupta and Biswas, Ahmad, Hasib. In case if we take L and M both 0 in first equation and L equal to 0, M equal to 1 in second equation, then this connection becomes a quarter symmetric metric connection. And the quarter symmetric metric connection was introduced by Yano and Imai. And in case if we take in first equation both L and M equal to 0 and L equal to 1, M equal to 0 in second, then the above connection becomes a semi-symmetric metric connection, and the notion of semi-symmetric metric connection was introduced by Haydn. Here, these are some basic definitions. What is an almost contact manifold? Let M be an almost contact manifold keyed with an almost contact metric structure consisting of a 1-1 tensor field J and a vector field J, a 1 form theta and a compatible Riemannian metric G bar satisfying this condition. And from this we also have this condition. And on an almost contact metric manifold is known as Kain-Motsu manifold if and only if it satisfies delta x bar j y bar equal to G bar j x bar y bar j minus theta y bar j x bar, where delta is the Levi-Civita connection of a semi-Riemannian metric. And with the help of above equation, it can be easily obtained that delta x bar j y bar equal to G bar j x bar y bar j minus theta y bar j x bar minus theta y bar L j x bar minus mx bar plus m theta x bar j. And after further calculation, we can derive delta x bar j equal to m j x bar plus L plus 1 x bar minus theta x bar j. And let mg be a light-like hypersurface of M, then normal bundle of Tm of M is a sub-bundle of the tangent bundle Tm of M of rank 1 and coincides with the radical distribution, that is Rad Tm equal to Tm intersection. These are some basics. These are some basics given already by. This is the equations on LM type connections on Kain-Motsu manifold. This is one proposition. Let M be a light-like hypersurface of indefinite Kain-Motsu manifold M bar with a LM type connection such that J is tangent to M, then B is symmetric if and only if M equal to 0. And this is the proof of this proposition. And further, these are the calculations which are used to prove the main results. On conformal screen distribution, the curvature tensor of induced connection delta and delta bar on M. The Gauss-Weingarten formula for M and STM are given by these. On a Kain-Motsu manifold M bar is called Kain-Motsu space form of constant holomorphic sectional curvature C if we have this curvature tensor satisfies this condition. And further we can find equation 4.4. A light like hypersurface M is said to be screen conformal, which is given by Disjoint, if there exists non-vanishing smooth function phi on U such that Cxpy equal to phi Bxpy. And this is the main theorem of my paper. Let M be a light like hypersurface of indefinite Ken-Motsu space form M bar C with an LM type connection such that J is tangent to M. Then if M is screen conformal, then C plus 1 equal to 0. And this is the proof of the main theorem. And these are the some references. Thank you, sir.
Yes, thank you, sir. So, what is your conclusion, sir?
Sir, sir, C equal to -1. This let on an indefinite Ken-Motsu space from M bar C with LM type connection. If J is tangent to M, then M is screen conformal. Then C plus 1 equal to 0. That is C equal to -1. This is the main conclusion.
Okay.
And C is the constant holomorphic sectional curvature C. This is equal to -1.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Any
sir.
queries from the participants? Right. Thank you, Sushil, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Now I would like to call next participant 803. Are you there? 804. Paper ID 804. Please check your paper ID, sir. 804.
Yeah, sir, I am 8.
What is your paper ID, sir? Tran, sir. Next paper ID 809. 809.
Yeah, I am sir available.
What is your paper ID, sir?
Yes, sir. I'm ready, sir.
Paper ID, please. Paper ID, sir.
Okay, sir. Ready, sir.
What is your paper ID, sir?
Ready, sir. Ready, sir.
Sir,
What is your
Fran,
paper ID, sir?
Paper,
ID.
they are asking paper ID. At least mention the topic on which you are talking.
Topic, yes, sir. Yes, yes. Fran, sir, you can start your PPT, sir. Please share your PPT.
Sir, can we move ahead till Khan sir come back with his proper
Sure,
setup?
sure, sir. Now I would like to call 810, paper ID 810.
Yeah, good evening, sir. Sorry, good afternoon, sir. Just a minute, I will share my screen.
Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Dr. Priyanka Ghosh. I am from Krishna Jayanti College, Department of Commerce. So my research topic was an event study on merger of HDFC Limited with HDFC Bank. Let me start with the brief of the HDFC Limited with HDFC Bank merger. The merger has been announced on 4th April of this year. And after having merger with HDFC Limited, the HDFC Bank will be having more exposure in the market of loan, and they are mainly focusing on the giving housing loans, and they are targeting different types of customers to giving more and more loans, which will develop the economy indirectly. The objective of my study is to find out whether the merger announcement has created any abnormal return on the event date, or along with the pre-announcement date and along with the post-announcement date. So to find out to prove the hypothesis, I have done the event study, OLS model I have taken. So total event window I have considered 11 days, including 1 day for event day and 5 days before event announcement and 5 days after announcement. So I have considered 3 hypotheses. First hypothesis, whether the event day will create any abnormal return for the shareholder or not. And again, pre-announcement and post-announcement event window will create any abnormal return or not. So during the study, I have found out that though this merger announcement has created the abnormal return on the event date, but the pre-announcement event window and the post-announcement event window will not endanger any of the abnormal return for the shareholders. So my conclusion is that though the merger event date will create the abnormal return for the shareholder, but the pre-announcement window and the post-announcement window will not create any abnormal returns for the shareholders. So this is my conclusion. Thank you, sir. I have done any question.
Thank you, madam. I request the participants, if they have any queries, they can share. They can ask. Thank you, madam.
Thank you, sir, so much.
Thank you, Priyanka, madam. Yeah, yes. Now I would like to call next participant. So if they are available, they can share their PPT 803.
809, sir. 809, sir. I'm available, sir.
809. Yes.
809.
Khan, sir. You can share, please. You can
Okay,
start,
sir.
sir.
Khan sir, please go ahead, sir.
There's some problems, sir. I'm not saying up, sir.
You can see there, sir. Share.
Sure,
You can open your PPT, sir. You can open
okay,
your PPT, sir, directly.
Okay.
Already it is
Okay,
shared. Your screen is shared.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Okay, sir. 1 minute, sir.
Yes.
Okay, sir. 1 minute. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
It
sir.
is visible, sir. Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Let's continue, sir. Okay, sir. Let's now start, sir. The topic of my presentation.
Yes, sir.
Please. And here critical description. This is the plan of my presentation. First of all, introduction, and second one, generation of ultra-low frequency waves, and finally findings. Introduction. Ultra-low frequency waves incident in the Earth's environments are produced by process in the magnetosphere and solar wind. These processes produce a wide variety of ULF hydromagnetic waves. Different frequency of waves and polarization originate in different regions of the magnetosphere. In this paper, the generation of hydromagnetic wave, their sources, internal and external to the magnetosphere, and their propagation and modification within the magnetosphere and ionosphere are briefly discussed. Generation of ultra-low frequency waves. The study of ULF wave is very active field of space research and much yet to be learned about the process and that generates these waves. ULF waves are created by a variety of processes in magnetized plasma. Plasma is highly ionized gases threaded by the magnetic field. The process that modify the equilibrium of the plasma and the magnetic field can serve as an energy source of waves. In 1942, H. Elfman showed how plasma in a steady magnetic field in which waves of low enough frequency could propagate in fluids of high electrical conductivity can be produced. The direct confirmation of the existence of the waves was difficult to obtain as they decay rapidly in most experiments. The situation is very difficult in problems of cosmic physics because of the enormous dimensions involved, and one can experience these waves as the rate can be small at these large spatial scales. Alfman showed that sufficiently low collision frequency, the charged particles simply gyrates around the magnetic field and travel along it. Any force that moves the charged particle can also move the magnetic field and vice versa. In this situation, the field and plasma are frozen together at low frequency electric field and plasma flow velocity are related by E equal to B cross B. Here E is the electric field and B velocity of the waves and B magnetic flux density. So with the low frequency approximation, Faraday also takes the form del cross B and del B over del T. Alfvén model for the wave generation shows in the figure 14. Here B and B flow the cross the magnetic field above and below the moving slab. It exerts a force F equal to J cross G. And finally, the figure B shows the shows the electron moves the left side of the moving slab and proton to the right side, shown in figure B. Similarly, in figure F, show the production of the generation mechanism of the hydromagnetic waves and Alfvén waves. MHD waves are found as solution to the basic fluid equations, Maxwell equation, and Ohm's law. In magnetized plasma of the two electromagnetic waves are joined together with sound waves, while the frozen in magnetic field. And there are three solutions to the basic equation. A low frequency approximation to the basic equation is called hydrodynamic waves. The fluid equations are the equation first, so the equation of motion, and the equation of continuity, and equation second, so the equation of motion, and equation says the state equation. And these are the Maxwell equations involved in this work. The first equation shows the Gauss line electrostatics, and second equation 5 shows the Gauss line magnetism, and equation 6 represents the Faraday electromagnetic induction waves, and finally the Ampere's law. In this problem, basically Ohm's law also in the frame in which plasma velocity is measured can be written in J equal to sigma E plus B cross B. Here J is the current density and sigma is the charge density. These equations can be solved by obtaining a single vector equation for the velocity perturbation of the plasma. This equation represents a single equation of four equations. And simplifying these equations, we can choose a spatial coordinate system and get set of equations in the matrix form. This set of equation has three solutions corresponding to three different modes of wave propagation. The first wave is the Alfvén wave, also called shear Alfvén wave, transverse or guided mode. It has only S component of the perturbation velocity orthogonal to the plane containing the ambient field and direction of propagation. In this condition, the first equation requires that omega square upon k square, here omega is the angular velocity and k is the wave number, and B A square the Alfvén velocity. The other two, in general, the ULF waves seen at the ground originate in the space as either fast mode or shear Alfvén mode, or the combination of the two. They propagate along across the magnetic field until they reach the ionosphere. At the ionosphere, they drive electric currents that radiate pure electromagnetic waves into the neutral atmosphere. Thus, magnetic pulsation measured on the ground are MHD waves converted to purely electromagnetic waves in the ionosphere. Finally, the findings. The logical investigation of micropulsation, magnetic pulsation, and ULEF waves has a long history. Recent instrument and satellite examination have uncovered an exponentially perplexing scientific categorization of the wave that arrive at the Earth's surface. These waves are dated by measure a distance as the sun and as close as the ionosphere. There are many sources of waves, both external and external to the magnetosphere. The actual magnetosphere is fully cavity and waveguide for waves that spread through the system. A large number of waves presently have acknowledged clarification as far as actual cycles in the solar wind or magnetosphere. Information on the wave qualities and the present status of space climate can give one a smart throw of what waves are probably going to happen at specific latitude and nearby time. The waves are demonstrative of the condition in space. Estimation on the ground can be utilized to distantly detect the condition in the magnetosphere and solar winds. They can likewise be utilized to test the subsurface conductivity construction of the Earth, as those at this gathering are well aware process that produce these waves. Finally, we can say that here we have a study that ULF waves are created internally and externally in the magnetosphere and ionosphere. Thanks. Hello?
Yes,
Hello.
Khan, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Tan, sir. Thank you.
Any
Thank
questions,
you,
sir?
Any queries from the participants? Right. Thank you, sir. Now
Okay.
I would like to call the next participant, 803.
Sir,
804.
812 it should be, sir.
8. Yeah, yes, sir. You can start 812.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes, you are
Yes,
audible.
Am I
yes,
audible?
Please
Yes.
go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Respected panelists and all research delegates, good afternoon to one and all. I, Mr. Suhas Govindrao Kulkarni, would like to take this opportunity to represent our work on a study of the imaging modalities used in computer detection, and my paper ID is 812. Let me explain very first the motivation and objective behind this study. Actually, we are working on an intelligent approach of liver cancer detection and segmentation. In this journey, initially, we needed to know that what are the different imaging modalities used in medical image processing, especially from the computer science point of view. So the motivation was to know what are the different types of imaging modalities and to find out a suitable imaging modality, because we were willing to study of liver cancer. So the objective was to find out all these imaging modalities, to make a comparative study and to conclude which one would be the suitable. In this study, initially we studied the different types of imaging modalities used in medical image processing. These are broadly categorized as the modalities which uses ionization and the modalities which do not use ionization. I would like to mention here very politely that all available medical image modalities we have studied, sir. So in ionization, again, there are two categories: the imaging modalities that make use of X-ray, and the imaging modalities that make use of gamma rays, where we have studied the radiographs, computed tomography, which is popularly known as CT scan, mammograph, scintigraphy, SPECT, and PET. And in non-ionizing, we have made a study of MRI, popularly known as, that is magnetic resonance imaging, elastography, optical imaging, infrared thermography, terahertz imaging, and actually in our paper we have represented all detailed working of all these imaging modalities, as well as a comparative study of all these imaging modalities. Just considering the time constraint, I would like to represent very briefly the comparative study of all these, where we have represented this comparative study in two different ways. Initially, we have made a comparison on their strength and risk factors, where, as I said, we have studied X-ray, CT, as our intention was to find out a imaging modality suitable for our research work. We found that CT scan and MRI are the popular imaging modalities used for liver cancer detection. We made a little bit of a detailed comparison between these two also, where we found that CT is able to provide good spatial resolution. It avoids invasive insertion of an arterial catheter and guide wire. It is also able to take a patient up to 200 kg weight, where MRI is comparatively little bit expensive. It is not suitable for patients with cardiac pacemakers, tattoos, because it make a use of magnetic field. Then we made a study of ultrasound also. Ultrasound is also one more, what you can say, popular imaging modalities. Then optical imaging, then radionuclide imaging, infrared thermography, that is comparatively a new technology, which is actually low cost, but it is restricted only right now to breast cancer diagnostic. We made a comparative study on some other more parameters also, like cost, ionizing radiation effect, heating effect, real-time information. From all these comparisons, we found that it has been observed that due to the ability to deal with the hard and soft tissues, CT and MRI become more generalized imaging techniques. Due to low cost and less number of side effects and the availability, ultrasound is also in the list of popular and preferred imaging modalities. But it relies on the skill and experience of radiologists, so highly it depends on operator. We conclude that CT scan remains the preferred imaging modality for diagnosis of diseases like cancer or liver, etc. Also, it has been considered of high accurate imaging and cheaper than MRI. We would like to mention that recently whole slide imaging is also getting traction in research community as an imaging modality. Before I conclude, very briefly, I would like to put that actually in our journey of an intelligent approach for liver segmentation, first step, we made a study of all these imaging modalities, where the objective was, once again, no any computer researcher need not to go in the details of this, and just by referring this, they can decide, irrespective of their diseases or domain area, that which medical imaging modality will be suitable for their research if they want to do it in medical image processing. In second step, we have made a study of noises that could appear especially in CT scan images. That work has been already published, and very politely I would like to mention that even though the study was of preliminary noise types and with reference to CT scan images, still we were able to grab the best paper award in that conference. At third step, what we are doing is we are making a data set of Indian patients, especially with liver cancer. Right now, we are at this stage in our research, sir. At fourth step, we are making a comparative study of different segmentation techniques that could be used in CT scan. And after that, we are representing our new intelligent approach, and then the routine one, the comparison with standard results and all that part. So this is just to give an eyesight that in which concern all this has been done. That's all from my side, sir. Thank you very much. Here I would like to take an opportunity to express my sincere gratitude towards the organizers and panelists to provide a platform to express our research work. And without forgetting, I would like to express my sincere gratitude towards my research guide, Dr. Mente sir from Solapur University. Thank you very much for listening me patiently, sir. Any queries and suggestions are most welcome. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Swal, sir. Thank you for your participation and presentation. Any queries from the participants they can ask? Now I would like to call next participant, 813 paper ID. I request the participants to take 5 to 10 minutes to present their paper. Next participant,
Hello.
813. Are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir,
Am I
yes.
audible, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Sir, I am starting sharing my screen.
Okay, sir.
Sir, my screen is visible?
Yes, sir. Yes. Please go ahead.
Good morning, all of you. I am Ashutosh Pandey, Research Scholar in Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering in School of Engineering and Technology, Guru Ghasidas Vishwavidyalaya, Central University, Bilaspur, Chhattisgarh. Today, I am representing my paper whose topic is some analysis on underlay channel capacity of relay assisted device to device system in cellular network for 5G. This paper is being prepared combinedly with my guide Dr. Pankaj Shankar Srivastava, Assistant Professor, Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering, School of Engineering and Technology, Guru Ghasidas Vishwavidyalaya, Central University, Bilaspur, Chhattisgarh. Why this presentation contains introduction, system model, system parameters, analysis, results and discussions, and at last conclusion. Now I will start from introduction part. Device-to-device communication enables wireless peer-to-peer services directly between user and equipments to facilitate high data rate local service as well as offload the traffic of cellular base station. By reducing the LTE cellular resources, device-to-device communication enhances spectrum utilization and improves cellular coverage. To achieve an efficient utilization of available resources, reduce latency, improve data rates, and increase system capacity, device-to-device communication utilizes nearby communication devices. In first 4 generation of cellular communication network, device-to-device communication functionality has not been considered. This is largely because it has mainly been envisioned as a tool to reduce the cost of local service provision, which used to be fractionalized in the past based on the cellular operation market statistics. The operator's attitudes towards device-to-device functionality has been changed recently because of several trends in the wireless market. The transmission capacity of an ad hoc wireless network is the maximum allowable spectral density of transmitting nodes satisfying as per transmitter receiver rates and outage probability constraints. Now we will go through system model. The block diagram of relay assisted system model in cellular network is shown in this figure. In this diagram, number of cellular users, device to device users, and potential relays are there. The device to device user may communicate directly or with the help of relay. This device to device communication may use the same frequency as used by cellular networks. In that case, there may be interference between them. This system works in time division duplex mode. All device to device users and cellular users uses full sub-channel available in the network. The channel capacity of a system is defined as the maximum rate at which data can be transmitted over a given communication path or channel under a given condition. It is referred to as channel capacity. This formula of underlay channel capacity is being taken from the reference number 12 and 11. Now we will see system parameters. There are some system parameters which are taken from our reference paper number 11. We can see there are several terms: cellular user density, cellular transmission power, cellular SIR threshold, device to device SIR threshold, and like this. Now we will do some analysis. It was seen that at maximum distance, that is 100 meters, underlay transmission capability deteriorates badly. So some analysis have done to tackle this problem. Now see, this is figure number 2. In this figure, analysis has done between device to device density versus underlay transmission capacity with different relay transmission power at maximum distance of 100 meter. It has been found that initially, as device to device density increases, underlay transmission capacity has also increased for fixed value of relay transmission power. But at higher value of device to device density, lower relay power gives higher underlay transmission capacity. Now in this next figure, this is figure number 3. Analysis is done between device to device transmission capacity underlay and device to device density with effect of path loss coefficient, that is alpha, at maximum distance of 100 meter. It has been seen from the figure that as the value of device to device density increases with fixed value of alpha, that is path loss coefficient, device to device transmission capacity increases. It can be verified from the figure that with higher path loss coefficient, we get better device to device transmission capacity. Now in this figure, this is figure number 4. Again, analysis is done between device to device density and underlay transmission capability with SIR threshold of relay transmission at same maximum distance of 100 meters. It has been found that as device to device density increases, underlay transmission capacity also increases for fixed value of SIR threshold of relay transmission. It can be verified from this figure that with lower value of SIR threshold of relay transmission, we achieve better underlay transmission capacity. Now this is the last graph. This figure is figure 5. Here again analysis is done between same device to device density and underlay transmission capability for same maximum distance of 100 meter, but with fixed value of device to device transmission power. It has been found that initially a D to D density increases with fixed value of D to D transmission power. Underlay transmission capacity has also increased. It can also be seen that at higher value of device to device density, D to D transmission power with greater value gives better underlay transmission capability. After these all analysis, we come to some results which we have discussed here, that in figure number 2, we see that as we increases device to device density, the transmission capacity also increases for the given value of relay power. To achieve maximum underlay transmission capacity for maximum device to device density, we have to use minimum relay power. This conclusion came from this this result came from figure number 2. Now from figure number 3, we have observed that as device to device density increases with fixed path loss coefficient, that is alpha, device to device transmission capacity also increases. And to achieve maximum device to device transmission capacity at maximum device to device density, we have to use maximum path loss coefficient. Now from figure 4, we get result that as device to device density increases, underlay transmission capacity also increases for the given value of SIR threshold of relay transmission. To achieve maximum underlay transmission capacity, we have to use minimum SIR threshold of relay transmission. And from figure, we get that as we increase device to device density, underlay transmission capacity also increases for the given value of device to device transmission power. For higher density, to achieve maximum underlay transmission capacity, we have to use maximum device to device transmission power. Now we can conclude this analysis and result discussion in two parts. First is device to device communication mainly depends upon device to device density, relay power, underlay transmission capacity, path loss coefficient, device to device transmission capacity, SIR threshold of relay transmission, and device to device transmission power. And secondly, to maximize device to device transmission capacity, that is underlay at maximum distance of 100 meter, depends on first, relay power should be kept as low as possible. Second, path loss coefficient should be maximum. SIR threshold for relay transmission should be minimum. Maximum device to device power should be used. That's all. And what are the references I have taken are mentioned here. You can see that.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Any questions?
No, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thanks for all the team members and my colleagues who are joined for today for this session. Let me share my screen quickly and we can go ahead. Guys, I think you can see my screen, right? Yes, thank you very much for participations and all the members. Today, just I will go through a nanotechnology and AI systems with correct biomarkers for early detection of cancer disease. Myself, Mohammad Sajjad from Bhagwant University, Ajmer, and my professor, Mr. Parshuram Singh. He's from Badamia College, Rajasthan. So quickly before moving into the actual topic, let me quickly take you to the introduction part where nanotechnology is a multidimensional research in applied physics field. It is a latest advancement in the material science and has its collaboration in chemistry, engineering, biology, metallurgy, textile and medicines. Nanotechnology and medicine has coupled to revolutionize them each other. With the help of nanotechnology, the nano-sized particles have been used in cancer detection, treatment of malignancies, and early detection of tumors. Today, we will discuss about early detection and cure of cancer using AI/ML, that is artificial intelligence and machine learning, and nanotechnological utilizations. So when I say nanotechnology, it is a minute thing. So it's very difficult to view. So we use the microscopes to view it. In the existing research, this paper has proposed a model of detecting cancer with the help of 3 technologies at a time, like selection of correct biomarkers and nanotechnology and AI, artificial intelligence based network, where a huge data is collected and we will go into the data to review it and to identify the early detection of the cancer. Now, this paper shows the positive result of finding the lung cancer. In the preliminaries, omic techniques are to aim and study the total composition of a specific biochemical group. Genomes of DNA, transcriptomics of RNAs, proteomics for proteins, metabolisms, lipidomic compounds will be reviewed. This paper they presents biomarkers among patients have induced a new omic technique which is integrated with big data and AI. In recent technological developments, I can say a big data is a huge uh, achievement where we have a collection of complete data with the use of artificial intelligence, where we can track down, drill down, and see to early detection of the cancer. Nanotechnology improves the precision with the help of omic data collection. Now, in evolution, if you go and drill down in the detail, extracellular cancer biomarkers, protein detection, circulating tumor DNA, microRNA detection, DNA methylation detection, these all are there. If we talk about one each quick point, if I say extracellular cancer biomarker, there are very minute, very small particles found inside the body which normally called as EVs. In protein detection, the blood contains plenty of different substances along with proteins. These proteins can give us a healthy status of cells and tissues from where they have originated. Circulating tumor DNA. Circulating tumor DNAs are the very important particle which is normally written as ctDNAs. These circulating DNAs from the blood vessels of a cancer patient can be utilized as a tool to identify the cancer cells. RNA detection, again, unlike DNAs, the microRNAs have different properties. These are often transcripts and regulates the gene information. These microRNAs are often utilized in many cancer findings techniques. So it is very important in many biological process also. The last, RNA methylation detection, the very important information substance in the DNA is methylated cytosine. It has all the properties to become the biomarkers. Early cancer detection using AI and artificial intelligence and nano. Artificial intelligence algorithms are to process large data. They are using different algorithms like artificial intelligence and machine learning. These days, AI systems are developed based upon the principle of deep learning. Here, tumor features are not defined by the program. Deep learning systems figure out themselves from large set of data comprehension. That's what I am saying. When it comes of large set of data, again, ML will come into the picture, machine learning. Okay, large set of data compromise, thousands of PF people scans, CT scans without cancer, with and without both the data. The research of AI-based early detection lung cancer can contain the base database of 40,000 CT scan reports. Now, quickly, I want to conclude. A lot of our colleagues are waiting. So, in the conclusion, I will say it has been provided that nanotechnology is a promising area of scientific and technological advancement. In nanotechnology, big things are expected from a really small thing. The introduction of biocompatibility materials and devices that are engineered on the nanometric scale that interact with biological molecules and cells and provide specified diagnostic, therapy, imaging function with utterly change the way which healthcare is provided in the future. For nanotechnology, the prosper these needs to be a true unification of science, which will require a multidisciplinary approach with the help of artificial intelligence and machine learning. With this, I am concluding. Thank you guys. Thanks for your time and patience listening to me. If you have any queries, please go ahead.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your participation in international conference. Now I would like to call next participant, sir, 821 with paper ID.
Yes, sir. Sir, can do I need to share? Directly share? Yes.
Yes, directly you can share, madam.
Sir, is it visible?
No, madam.
No, madam, not yet.
Okay. Is it visible, sir?
Yes, madam.
Yes, madam. Please.
Okay. So my topic is perception of customers towards online food delivery services. This is Dr. P. Vanishri from CVR College of Engineering, Hyderabad. And my co-author is Dr. P. Padmavati, Associate Professor from Sri Satya Institute of Higher Learning, Anantapur campus. So earlier customers had to visit a restaurant, order for the food and then pay. It used to be a cumbersome process. So online food delivery system provides the interconnectivity between the restaurants, aggregators and consumers who want their food delivered to their doorstep. And the first online food delivery company was Pizza, that was established in 1994. From 1994 till now, the demand for online food delivery services has increased manifold and drastically, especially after COVID. COVID-19 has led to the boom of cloud kitchen. So it has become a very convenient way to start business, especially for women entrepreneurs who have the zeal to start a new business, have the talent, they have the traits of an entrepreneur, but who can start business only from home due to several constraints. So thus the food delivery system is becoming a trending business, with cloud kitchen becoming the fastest mode of making more profits. Objectives of the study. The main objective is to understand and analyze the perception of customers towards the online food delivery services, for which I have taken 5 factors, that is perceived usefulness, perceived barriers, perceived ease of use, perceived service quality and trust. My research methodology, this I have conducted a survey in Rangareddy district in Hyderabad. I have used judgment sampling method. And I've used a questionnaire for which I got response of 240 responses. I've used 5-point Likert scale and SPSS package in which I've used factor analysis method. So this is my demographic profile, which include gender wise, age group wise, frequency of using food apps, and the type of food delivered, whether it is for breakfast, lunch, snacks, or dinner. So as per the factor analysis, the first factor, perceived usefulness. So I have taken 5 factors. 4 factors for this: food can be ordered anytime, quality of food, saving time, and variety of food, out of which it's the time saved to go to a restaurant has got the highest loading of 0.967. And the rest, all other loadings were also positive, more than 0.5. The next factor which I have taken is perceived barriers. Under this, food arriving cold, delivery charges are too high, or loss of internet connectivity due to power failure. So these are some of the barriers for which food delivering cold has got the highest, a loss of internet connectivity due to power failure has got the highest loading of 0.959, followed by food arriving cold, and then followed by delivery charges are high. So all have been found to be relevant factors which are perceived barriers for food delivery. The next factor is perceived ease of use. That is, online food delivery app is easy to navigate. Food ordered is placed in a couple of clicks itself. And there are many options available regarding the restaurant's price, mode of making payment, and food. So out of these sub factors, the factor that has got the highest loading is online food delivery app is very easy to navigate. Anyone can navigate a food delivery app, from small kids to aged people. It is very convenient for anyone to navigate the delivery app. So it has become very, very easy for anyone, irrespective of age group, to deliver food online. Rest other factors I've also found to be relevant regarding ease of use. The next factor which has been taken is perceived service quality. So under this, the sub factors are like personalized services are provided. There is prompt response in inquiries. Services are provided on time, and helpful and credible information is provided. So out of these sub factors, the one that has got the highest loading is services are provided on time. So the food delivery apps, they are all trying their level best to deliver within 30 minutes max. They are trying to deliver, and which has got the highest loading. So this sub parameter has been able to meet the expectations of the customers when it comes to service quality. The rest other parameters have also got positive loadings more than 0.5. So which means that they are also equally relevant in perceived service quality. The last one is trust. The app allows us to track my food. App is reliable. App complies with all its terms and procedures. There is no difference between the food that is posted on the app and the food that has been delivered. So out of these sub parameters, the one that has got the highest loading is the app that allows me to track my food. So the rest, all of the sub parameters have also got more than 0.5 loading. So which means that all the other sub parameters are also equally relevant when it comes to trust factor. So the conclusion over here is that the online food delivery apps are becoming more diverse, and more advanced features are being added so as to streamline the purchasing process. Well, it has still there are many more scope for online food delivery apps to streamline the purchasing process, especially the type of technologies that are being implemented, like IoT, machine learning, AI. All this will help the customers to get even more better experience of online food delivery. And the next is online food delivery marketers should actually strive harder on gaining more trust of the customers, especially, while creating more awareness on the type of ingredients that they're using in preparing the food. Most of the time, we are not aware of the ingredients that are being used in preparing the food. So if this also is taken care of, then it would improve, it would help the gaining the more trust of the customers. The third is this study will assist the online food delivery apps in gaining an insight on the possible factors that could influence the behavior and intention of the customers and their readiness to adopt online food delivery platforms. So with this, I conclude my PPT.
Thank you, Vanishri madam. Thank you for your presentation, and the parameters you have chosen are good. And here the methodology you are chosen as judgment sampling, right?
Yes, yes.
And how you are calculating this eigenvalue, madam?
I have used SPSS package, sir.
Are you using any? Okay, from the package you are.
Yeah, sir.
Okay. Right. Thank you, madam. Any queries from the participants? Right. I will go with the next participant. Thank you, madam. Thank you for your participation.
Thank you, sir.
Now
Thank
I would like to call. Now I would like to call the next participant with paper ID 822. Are you there, madam? 824. Paper ID 824. Please, you can respond.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Paper
Good
ID
afternoon, sir.
Can I present, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, please.
Sir, is my screen visible?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So, myself, K. Narasimha Bharati, from the SCMVME deemed to be university, under the guidance of my guide T. Pushpanathan sir, has done a very short survey, an assessment of workplace reading competencies for the dentist. I come from the Department of English, under which we have a domain English Language Teaching, shortly known as ELT. This survey comes under this particular domain. So our objective is to assess whether there is a need for reading sub-skills or competencies for practicing dentist, not for the students who are studying, but for the practicing in the workplace, whether the reading sub-skills are needed or not. That is the main objective of this particular short survey. So it is well established that most of the medical journals are published, medical articles are published in English only. So the dentists who are practicing can update their knowledge and skills and the new materials which are arriving in the market through these articles from the journal. So it is very clear that dentists need reading skills, and in particular a few of the sub skills in reading. So we just wanted to review few of the literature in Wardenile. As mentioned, that the medical students also need reading sub skills so that they can write better. If in order to improve their assignments or other writing skills, they need the reading sub skills. So the methods and materials used for this are, I took 6 sub skills after discussing with subject matter experts, that is professors or associate professors from the dental colleges who are teaching to the dental students, and practicing dentists who are practicing in the industry for almost 10 years, as well as English language teaching experts. So after discussing with all these 3 experts, I've come to a conclusion of some 10 sub-skills. After conducting pilot survey, I came to know that of all these 10, some 6 sub-skills were very important. So I took the 6 sub-skills, made a questionnaire of it, and circulated in the social media. And in some instances, I myself visited few clinics so that I can get the opinion of the dentist. Some 100 dentists have gave consent for the study, and they have given their opinion. The research instrument was a questionnaire, and the collected data was given to the SPSS software. After the SPSS software analysis, we have done a frequency analysis of the results. So the findings of the results were reading the previous treatment records. So that is the first sub-skill what they have ranked. So the sub-skills were ranked in an hierarchy. Reading the previous treatment records was very important, and the dentists have given high priority to this particular reading sub-skill. After followed by the academic journals, dentist wanted to know that the academic drugs and materials, mostly they use these drugs and materials from the industry. So they give the least priority to that, and the most least priority was given to reading memos from their colleagues. So they usually call, because of the communication, they call improvements in the communication, they call to the colleagues and to the lab, everything. So the memos, reading the memo from their colleagues were given the least priority. So the implications shows that all the sub-skills which were selected were needed for the dentist. So improving the communicative competencies in regard to reading sub-skills is very, very important for the practice. So dentists who usually these medical students do not have any English language teaching or ELT courses in their curriculum, even from their first year till their internship. So if that is included in their curriculum, or else if that is given as just as a training for almost 6 months, it would improve their clinical skills and it would be useful for their practice. So conclusion, dentistry offers more vocabulary, challenging task of updating often. So these dental materials are constantly improved and produced. So it is needed for them, for the dentist to improve their reading skills. So if there is any miscommunication, it may be a problem to patients as well as to the dentist. So that is these are the references which I have took. So the conclusion is reading sub-skills are needed for the dentist.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your contribution about this problem. Now I would like to call the next participant, 827. 827.
Century was absorbed.
Paper ID 830. Hello. Yes, sir. Okay. Sir, myself is Ishwar Ganpati, lecturer in mathematics. I would like to thank entire team of this conference. Hello. The screen is audible, visible, sir? Okay, sir. Sir, my topic is completely primed for G ideal circuit, partial order ternary gamma semigroup, sir. So introduction.
First of all, fuzzy ideals is introduced by Clifford and Preston, who are deeply studied algebraic theory of semigroups. My professor A. Anjaneyulu had built out an ideal theory in semigroups. In 1965, the concept of fuzzy subset of a set was established by L. Chade. Now we introduce the terms fuzzy ideal and completely prime fuzzy ideal. So prerequisites. First of all, I would like to start basic definition of fuzzy sets. A semigroup capital T with an ordered relation less than or equal to is known as partial order ternary gamma semigroup. If T is a poset means partial ordered set such that Q less than or equal to R implies Q gamma Q1 delta Q2 less than or equal to R gamma Q1 delta Q2. And second condition is Q1 gamma Q gamma Q2 less than or equal to Q1 gamma R delta Q2. And third condition is Q1 gamma Q2 delta Q less than or equal to Q1 gamma Q2 delta R for all Q comma R comma Q1 comma Q2 belongs to T. And second definition is let a non-empty subset capital C subset to capital T, the characteristic mapping HC from T to closed interval 0, 1 is defined as HC of T, which is equal to 1 if condition is T belongs to C and otherwise 0 if T does not belong to C. Then HC is a subset of fuzzy subset of T.
So go to the next slide, sir. Go to the next slide. Yeah, these are definitions, right?
So completely prime fuzzy
definitions. You leave the definition, sir. Please go to the methodology.
Okay, sir. So theorem, sir. Let small h be a fuzzy ideal of pivot ternary gamma semigroup capital T. If H is completely prime fuzzy ideal, then H is weakly completely prime fuzzy ideal. Sir, I would like to tell proof, sir.
No need, sir. No need.
Okay, sir.
No need,
next
please.
Theorem. Yes.
Yes.
Next theorem. Let H be a fuzzy ideal of a partial order ternary gamma semigroup T. If HT is a completely prime fuzzy ideal of a pivot gamma Hg for all T belongs to open 0 gamma closed 1, then H is a weakly completely prime fuzzy ideal. Next theorem, sir. Let H be a fuzzy ideal of a pivot gamma Hg T. If HT is completely prime ideal of T, then small h is completely prime fuzzy ideal of T. Next theorem. Okay, sir. Next theorem. Let small h be a fuzzy ideal of a partial ordered ternary gamma semigroup T. Then the subsequent conditions are equal. First one is H is fuzzy prime ideal. Second one is for any ordered partial fuzzy primes QL comma Rn comma Sn belongs to T. If poset Q1 QL gamma Rm delta Sn subset H, then QL subset H or Rm subset H or Sn subset H for all L comma M comma N belongs to open 0 comma 1. For third condition is for any ordered fuzzy primes QL comma Rm comma Sn subset to T, if T gamma QL gamma T gamma Rm gamma T gamma Sn subset to H implies QL subset H or Rm subset H or Sn subset H. Next theorem, sir. Let H be a fuzzy ideal of a partial order ternary gamma semigroup T. H is fuzzy prime ideal if and only for any fuzzy ideals H1 gamma, H2 gamma, H3 gamma, and so on, n belongs to n. If H1 gamma, H2 gamma, H3 gamma, and so on, gamma Hn subset H, that implies Hi subset H for I equal to 1, 2, 3, and so on n. So now I conclude my topic. We establish the notions of completely prime fuzzy and prime fuzzy ideals of a partial order ternary gamma semifuzzy. Okay, thanks.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Any contribution from your side, sir, in this paper?
Yes, sir.
Is this a review paper, sir? I think
Okay,
it's a
sir.
review paper, right?
Yes, sir. Conference, I send conference paper, sir. Okay, it's PPT.
Okay.
I not include in PPT, sir.
Right. Yeah. That's what. Okay.
Okay, sir. I would like to share my paper, sir.
No. That is with me, sir. That's okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Any queries from the participants? Now we can move to the next participant with paper ID. I received a request from 859. Madam, are you there? 859 paper ID. So please stop sharing, sir. Stop your sharing.
849 is what you said?
859. 859. Okay.
Yes, sir. 859. I'm present.
Please.
Sir, do I wait? I am 851. I have been online.
Yes, madam. On a request, I called her 859.
Okay, sir.
Yes,
okay,
yes.
right.
Next
Fine.
we'll call. Yes. Thank you.
It's okay, sir.
Sir.
Madam, your screen is visible,
Yes.
madam. Please.
Yes, I'm beginning. Thank you so much, sir.
Take 5 to 10 minutes, madam.
Yes, sir. A very good afternoon to one and all present in this prestigious international conference. I offer my obeisance to the Divine One, and I'm grateful to the organizers today for this opportunity. I'll present my research work on the eclectic approach that I've identified to design a conceptual framework for communicative competence at workplace. Persuaders are irreplaceable, says Carmen Gallo. He's an communication advisor for Google, Accenture, Intel, in his famous book, Talk Like TED. Today, we are witnessing tectonic shifts due to the rising social media, AI, and machine learning, just like one of the previous speakers had mentioned. But also technical proficiency and high-end business degrees are not sufficient. Therefore, effective communication raises people from a state of complacency to creative storytellers, innovators, and explorers. And these are the people who bring business to a company. It is therefore not surprising that communicative competence is the subject of many theoretical and empirical approaches. And this development of the theory of CC or communicative competence began with Noam Chomsky's distinction of the terms competence and performance, and thereafter, he gave several theorists scope to debate the terms and their implications, from Delheims in 1972 to Celsi-Murcia in 1995 and thereafter. So in this paper, I trace the development of the theory of CC, but also most importantly, I try to address and identify the research gap towards operationalizing this term specifically in the Indian workplace. So the paper is divided into 4 main sections: of the origin of the term, the history of the models, the comparative analysis that I have done of the competences, and the conceptual framework that I have designed for workplace communicative competence. A comparative analysis of the progress of this particular theory gave me the reason for the emergence of new competences, and I'll enlist this to you quickly. So this comparative analysis has been developed over the years, And first we see grammatical competence on the right by Kennel and Swain. Then we have sociolinguistic competence, which combines socio-cultural rules of use and discourse rules. We have strategic competence, which helps us to use verbal and non-verbal strategies in case of our breakdown in times of speech texts. And then we have discourse competence in 1983, which was added later by Kennel, which helps us to have a mastery of our understanding of different texts, whether it is in listening, speaking, reading, or writing. Pragmatic competence by Bachman and Palmer, which gave us illocutionary competence and sociolinguistic knowledge. Organizational competence, which helped several speakers to prepare sentences that are grammatically acceptable and also organize them, whether it is in the oral or the written form. The interactional competence by Claire Cramsch in 1986 gave us a shared internal context or a sphere of intersubjectivity. Socio-cultural competence by Kennel and Swain again. And they told us that these are the socio-cultural rules of use and of discourse. Now, what is the literature gap and the need for this particular study? We see that communicative competence is relevant in several spheres, several stakeholders in the teaching and learning process: portfolio assessment, student campus placement, syllabus design, employee testing and selection, as well as pedagogy and CLT. So what I am interested is over here in the workplace communicative competence. The recent empirical and theoretical studies, they focus largely only on the models by Kennel and Swain or Bachman and Palmer, and also the levels of competence that are outlined in CEFR, Council of European Framework. But the above comparative analysis that I just presented to you, it shows a distinct need for a comprehensive and eclectic model of communicative competence. Therefore, the scope of this research is to address the research gap of the lack of an eclectic model. And this has been arrived at by historically organizing all the independent contributions that came by the previous giants, and to each a new competence was added. So the contributions of to this particular theory of communicative competence by the theoretical linguists and the secondary sources have helped me to identify the needs at the Indian workplace and also design this proposed conceptual framework. So this proposed conceptual framework for the workplace, it stands very significantly on the work of the past frameworks, and I understand the gap to operationalize communicative competence for the workplace based on a comprehensive combination of all the necessary competences. Now, when you look at this proposed framework, it introduces a new competence, that is effective competence, which has been theorized and implemented largely in psychology and education sectors, and also in learning and development. For example, we have the famous work by Amy G. Halberstad, Susan A. Denham, and Julie in their paper, Effective Social Competence. In this paper that was written in 2001, they design a theoretical model comprising effective messages and receiving effective messages and the effect that they experience. So although they define effective social competence as the ability to effectively communicate one's own emotions, and they also identify 4 abilities. However, the development of the framework of communicative competence requires one step further. It requires the study of effective competence as a linguistic term, how it enables the teaching learning process. So therefore, the term affect and effective filter is not new. It is a very significant term that has been studied and tested in second language acquisition. So this study identifies the need to define effective components in L2 speakers at the Indian workplace as part of communicative competence. So this proposed framework that you all see, it outlines the parameters of each competence, and this has been a result of the comparative analysis of the previous models from Himes to Celsi-Murcia. These are the references, both primary as well as secondary, that I have included in my research work. Thank you for your patient listening.
Thank you. Thank you, madam. Thank you, Archana Murthy, madam, for your nice presentation. Now I would like to call next participant 834 with paper ID. Paper ID 834. 835.
Yes, sir. 835 present.
Yes, yes. Good afternoon, sir. Please share your PPT and you can start, sir.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Sanidhya Singh from Bharati Vidyapeeth, deemed to be University College of Engineering, and I here present my views on design and build control panel for vertical axis wind turbine rotating at 700 RPM. So, as we all know that renewable resources are the only way to constantly satisfy the needs of emerging world. Wind energy is used across the globe for power generation. And as the world needs constant renewable power supply to meet its energy demands, the model here is explained. It proposes efficient real-time monitoring of the fluctuations in voltage, current, and RPM, and automate the process to cut the power supply according to the need. So, sir. In the proposed research, we have used vertical axis wind turbine instead of horizontal wind axis vertical turbine, which is often known as halide turbine. And vertical axis wind turbine is a type of wind turbine where the main rotor shaft is set transverse to the wind, while the main components are located at the base of the turbine. This allows the generator and gearbox to be located close to the ground, facilitating service and repairs. These turbines do not necessarily mechanism. And vertical axis wind turbine has its axis perpendicular to the wind streamlines and vertical to the ground. So it helps us much more. And with population increasing exponentially, it is more important than ever to invest in renewable energy, as our consumption habits of fossil fuels has caused many environmental issues. So, sir, our goal was very clear: to save the power generating grid from overheating and mishappenings. In our proposed model, we have used voltage divider circuit relay, which is, to be precise, SPDT relay, and we have used current sensor, ACS712 current sensor, and IR sensors, and etc. So we first measured RPM using the IR sensor, which is in engineering it is called a tachometer. It is a useful tool for calculating the rotational motion of any part, any rotating part in technology. So using a Hall effect sensor, we measured the RPM of the rotating shaft, which we used in our model. And as a result, the tachometer reads out the revolutions per minute, which will tell us how often a rotating part completes one full rotation. And so the IR sensor will rotate the detection of the time changes, and we have associated it with the Arduino elements. And so here you can see the block diagram, the proposed block diagram for the control panel of vertical axis wind turbine. Here we have a speed controller also, so as to in the proposed model, because we were unable to produce winds with such speeds in contrary to actual conditions. So here we have used Arduino Nano and a LCD display to display our various parameters such as voltage, current, and RPM. And we have used a current sensor and a voltage sensor. Voltage sensor is sensed by a voltage divider circuit. And we have used a relay to cut off the power supply after a certain RPM, which is 700 RPM. We have used relay to cut off the power generating supply. So here is the readings of voltage and current with respect to the rotations per minute. So as you can see, up to starting from 126 RPM, we have the corresponding voltage and current for the RPM, and until the 700 RPM, which is increasing, which is in an increasing manner, measurements have taken, and you can see that until 700 RPM, the power generation is available. But as you reach 700 RPM, the power generation has been cut off or not. And RPM above 700 will not be calculated, as the LCD will be stating as high speed and advise and automate the cutoff procedure. So loosely rotating the axis and not generating any electricity. So we have also state a relationship between current and RPM. We have just plotted the readings measured by us, and as it rises steadily up to a point, and when it reaches 700, it will be infinite. So this is the graph plotted, and same as the relationship between voltage and RPM. We have plotted the same readings measured, and as you can see, voltage is steadily increasing, and after reaching 700 RPM, it will suddenly drop. So this is all we have concluded. And to conclude, I would like to say that it is easier to deploy our model into embedded systems like Arduino, and this approach will reduce the damage to different appliances due to the excess current, saving the infrastructure. So basically, this is all we've used, and these are the references. And thank you, sir. Any questions, sir?
Thank you, sir. Nice presentation.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Now I would like to call next participant 842 paper ID. 842. Next paper ID 847. Please set your paper ID, sir. 847. 848.
Yes, sir, I'm present. 848.
Yes, good afternoon. Good afternoon, madam. Please, you can share your PPT and you can start.
Yes, sir. Just a second. Good afternoon, one and all present. So I, Disha Gulia, will be presenting my study on the topic gluten-free products, a fad or necessity, a study with reference to Delhi NCR. So in this study, we basically started with aim to study the trends going in the gluten-free market, what products are available and what are the preferences of the customers for gluten-free products. So let me share a brief introduction. So gluten-free products market is segmented. Basically, the gluten-free market size was predicted to be 4.3 billion in the year 2019, and it is expected to grow to 7.5 billion by the year 2027. So this huge surge is due to the gluten intolerance population in Indian community, which is, for example, 1 in 140 Indians is suffering from gluten intolerance. So gluten intolerance is a disease called celiac disease, which can be called gluten intolerance, and also it is an autoimmune disease which has shifted consumer base from a healthy perspective, celiac-free products. So these are the examples. The lifestyle changes and the premium prices for the healthier and the improved version of the products depicts a shift in the eating habits of the consumers. So that's why they have shifted to these healthier options available in the market. So now this has pondered me to focus on what were the important aspects of this study. So in the year 2016, Sharma and Mohan highlighted that there was a lack of literature on the consumer attitude and trends towards the gluten-free products available in the Indian market. So that's why we chose to address these research questions. Our study included what type of gluten-free products are preferred by the consumer and what are the factors that lead to the adherence of gluten-free product of the Indian consumers. And then lastly, what were the preferences for the already available gluten-free products in the market? So these three research questions we have addressed in our study. Now let's move on to the research methodology. So to highlight the study, we took the tier 1 and tier 2 cities of Delhi NCR just because the population diversity in these cities and the awareness of the healthier alternative present in the market. So we surveyed 379 consumers from Delhi NCR with the help of a questionnaire, and the questionnaire these products and how satisfied are they with these products, and what is the price range available in the market, and what suggestions or recommendations they are ready to give for the improved version of these products. So for the analysis part, we have used SPSS, and the variables were found out and analyzed using exploratory factor analysis. Now let's move on to the results part. So the first graph over here shows the demographic profile of the respondents. So in the first graph, we surveyed 379 respondents, and out of which 40% were males and 59.63% were female. Respondents were from the age group of 18 to 60 years of age. So we analyzed the respondent profile and we ran the Pearson chi-square test was conducted to between the age of the respondent and how did they buy the gluten-free products, which came out to be insignificant. And this shows that the age of the consumer does not depend on the purchase of the gluten-free product. At the same time, gender had a significant effect on buying behavior of gluten-free product. The females were respondents were ready to buy the gluten-free products from the online community had a wide range of products, and few consumers were also ready to buy it from online stores that used to source these products from abroad. Okay, now let's see why do the respondents buy gluten-free products? What was the basic reason behind buying these gluten-free products? So the basic reason behind buying these gluten-free was the celiac disease behind this. Some had their family members who were celiac, or some were gluten intolerant, or some wanted to shift to a healthier perspective and after the COVID-19, they wanted to add some healthier alternatives in their diet. So these were the reasons. And the main reason was the celiac disease, that is the gluten intolerance towards. Okay, now these were the 4 components identified in our research based on the exploratory factor analysis: the product attribute, what frequency of purchase they would choose, and what was the price they were ready to pay for such high-end products, and what channel of distribution would they prefer for buying these gluten-free products. Now let's see what were the responses of participants from various factors that showed their consumer preferences towards these products and how satisfied were they from these products. So when asked about the satisfaction level for the gluten-free products, mostly it ranged between average satisfaction and above average satisfaction for these parameters. And lastly, we'll talk about the frequency of buying these gluten-free products. Respondents who were gluten intolerant were willing to pay more for these suitable gluten intolerance products and better taste. So in what form would they prefer buying these products were biscuits, cakes, cookies, and breads. These were the few examples. And how often would they prefer it? It ranged mostly between 2 to 3 months. Lastly, these were the parameters what made them pay extra for such products. Taste, I would say, and the quality were the highest factors that made them pay for such products. And also, respondents consuming gluten-free products for medical purposes were unwilling to pay for shelf life and appearance. Shelf life and appearance were the two factors which were least considered. Then after that, the taste and quality were ranked second and third respectively in willingness to pay for more for these products. And the respondents were also ready to pay for appearance and shelf life, ranked second in response to these products. And availability at the renowned store was also one of the major factors that made all these parameters differ from others. So these were the conclusion I have drawn from this study. The present scenario of the gluten-free market had a great potential. And as consumers, we are finding it difficult to get the desired gluten-free products in the renowned retail store. So we need to expand the gluten-free market in order to meet the requirements and changing demand patterns of the consumers. So more R&D is required to regulate these products in the market. Segmentation and positioning must be kept in mind while introducing such product in the market. And this market segment is expected to grow with huge bounds in the coming future. So this is what I have studied in my results. Thank you very much. That's all from my side.
Thank you, madam. Thank you, madam. Thank you for your presentation. And at last you declined the food products. You rejected the food products, right, madam?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. Okay, fine, madam. Right. Thank you for your participation, madam. Now I would like to call the paper ID 834.
Yes, sir.
Paper ID 834.
Hello.
Yes, madam. Yes, madam. Please.
Yeah.
Yes, madam. You can start your presentation and please state 5 to 10 minutes due to the limitation of time. Please start. Share your PPT, madam. Yes, yes, madam. Please go ahead.
So, good afternoon, everyone. This is Isha Mandota from University Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering. We are now presenting for you COVID-19 response detection and social distancing on public places. Now we all know so far how COVID-19 pandemic is affecting people in different ways. Some cases people are recovering by isolating themselves, whereas in some cases they run a treatment. Many individuals are contributing.
Your voice is not clear. Voice is not clear, madam. It's still. Your voice is not clear, please.
Now is it clear? Hello.
Yes, yes, madam. Please. Right. Now it is clear, madam.
Yeah, thank you. Many people are contributing in finding the solution in reducing the effect of virus in their own ways. We have some detection techniques like social distancing, in which it detects and monitors the specific distance between individuals, and
make sure the COVID-19 guidelines are followed. There is also a detection technique called face mask detection, where we monitor and detect whether an individual is wearing mask or not. On the basis of this approach, we have created a model that detects face mask using the libraries TensorFlow, Keras, OpenCV, that not only detects, it locates and identifies the object. So, and we are using Raspberry Pi domain. Raspberry Pi camera is a high definition camera that will capture the video. Hence, we are using Raspberry Pi camera. So in such a way, we can see how social distancing detection takes place. In the blue, we can see the individuals are maintaining their distances, but in the pink, we can see that they are close. So hence the guidelines are not followed. In the face mask detection, we first load the face mask data set. We train the face mask data set using the libraries like TensorFlow, OpenCV, Keras, and from there it detects faces in image or video mode. We extract using face ROI, region of interest, where it displays red for wearing mask and green for not wearing mask, and hence the result is displayed. In social distancing, the same thing follows, but here we make sure that the distance is less than n pixels apart. You can see in the figure that the person is not wearing mask, and hence it is displayed red, and he is wearing mask, and hence it is displayed green. And in such a cases, their accuracy is measured, and the average accuracy of all the images is 1.1. You can see here the image, the individuals are close to each other, and hence it is displaying a red mark. And those who are far, it is displaying a green mark, showcasing that the guidelines are being followed. So, concluding, the system is accurate, efficient, and it is easier to deploy as it uses Raspberry Pi, which is very efficient in handling, and it also contributes to public healthcare. It proposes an efficient real-time deep learning-based framework to automate the process of monitoring. And we believe this approach will ensure the safety of individuals too. These are the references from where we took the inspiration. Thank you so much. Hello. Hello.
Hello, can I present, sir? 8:56.
Waiting 8:49.
Okay.
Me too, waiting 8:51. Sir's mic is off. Chandramohan sir, organizer.
(8:49). Are you there?
Yes, sir, I'm there. I'll just share
Yes,
my
madam,
screen.
please. Yes.
So I'm Dr. Supriti Das from Gargi. Some of the utilities of, we hear of nanotechnology and nanoparticles, exploits of nanosciences for solid state components and devices. Here what we do is we just add some of these nanoparticles to base fluids. For everything to remove a lot of heat, we need to, for effective performance of devices, we need to remove heat. Now, basic coolants are water, e.g. oil. So what we do, what was found was 3 decades back, that if you add some of these nanoparticles
Excuse me, madam.
to
Sorry
the
to
base
interrupt
fluid,
you.
yeah.
Madam, your screen is not visible, madam. PPT, you are not shared your PPT.
Actually, I thought I've shared. Okay, just a minute.
Yes.
So I have opened the tray. Where can I see? How can I see? I've opened the.
You can click on share, madam. Share button. You can see click.
The open share, right? Open share tray, isn't it?
Yes.
It's open share tray. Okay.
Only
is it
share,
visible
madam.
now?
Yeah. Yes, madam. Now it is visible. Yes.
Okay.
Go
So
to
I
the
was
next
talking
slide,
about
madam.
I was talking of this just addition of some nanoparticles, and the results that are obtained are there's a lot of improvement in the thermophysical properties. So it's been going on for a while, for almost 3 decades that we have these. I have particularly chosen oil because I've worked with multi-walled carbon nanotubes, and oil real-world applications are for oil heaters where you have circulation of it. Also in transformers. As we know, transformers are one of the biggest capital investments for distribution of electricity. So that has oil. A lot of heat is generated for effective performance of the devices, and also for expanding the lifespan. I need to have an effective way of removing the heat. So that is what we are doing over here. So I'll quickly tell you, this is the basic thing. I'm using natural convection so I don't need external fans or anything. Just by gravity, I'm going to be able to have a velocity distribution as well as study the temperature distribution. So then what I do is I have the equations, which I don't think anybody will be interested. I have a properties for the silicon carbide thermonanofluid. I work under a particular approximation where I just consider the density differences, because of which under gravity, the lighter part of the fluid goes up and the heavier part sinks. I have this as my velocity profile. How this helps is, you can say this is for a range of Rayleigh numbers, which tells you what is more significant. Rayleigh number is some kind of a ratio. This thing, and I also have the temperature profile for each one of them for different Rayleigh numbers. I'll quickly go through these slides. And finally, I'm going to tell you, these are the files. And one from here, and why it is useful is because I'm going carrying out simulations. Before I start any experiment, carrying out simulation helps me because I can actually see the diamond. I can try with different nanoparticles. I can try with different base fluids, and then also I don't use chemicals. I'm going to have some kind of an optimization. So that helps me not wasting my chemicals, not polluting the environment. I can try all kinds of parameters for this. However, there are a few challenges because when you're doing research, you'd also like it to be, this is a theoretical simulation, but you'd also like it to be applied for the industries. The problem is, first, well, you need huge machinery for all this. There is stability issues. And remember, I said we have nanoparticles. The nanoparticles are there, but there is stability issue, then they can all collect together. So to avoid collection, I have to add some other chemicals that affects their properties. So this is the biggest challenge that I have in using nanoparticles for industrial applications. So finally, I conclude that we must continue with trying with various nanofluids and try our best to see which nanofluid can get us into actually using it for in transformer oil, as also in a lot of other devices. Thank you. And finally, for collaboration, I have an email ID if anybody is interested. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir, I'm present. Am I audible, sir? Okay, sir. Thank you. Just I'm presenting. Sir, my PPT is visible. Am I visible, sir? Hello? Just a minute, sir. Now, sir? Hello? Now, sir? Thank you, sir. Good afternoon to everyone. St. Martin's Engineering College team for giving me an opportunity for presentation of my paper that is on experimental investigation on different properties of black cotton soil stabilized with silica fume for structural application. So this is mainly related with the flexible pavements, what we are going to discuss with respect to black cotton soil. So whenever our pavements are being of black cotton soil, then there will be the formation of potholes and lot of traveling problems will be there. So to overcome this property, we have studied certain research work. I have carried a lot of research work using five to six different stabilizers, and my co-guides are Dr. KB Prakash, SGBIT Belagavi, and co-guide Dr. S. Krishnaya, JNTUA Anantapur. So I'm just presenting a part of my research work here. So going for my presentation directly. So black cotton soil is a low bearing capacity and high shrinkage and swelling properties. So this particular soil is a highly expansive soil. By adding admixtures from industrial waste like silica fume, which is an ultrafine powder collected as a byproduct of the silicon and ferrosilicon alloy production, and consists of a spherical particles with an average particle diameter of 150 nanometer. The main field of application is as a pozzolanic material form, which will increase the bearing strength of the soil. The tests were carried on different properties by using the stabilization part of the silica fume. So coming for the introduction, as we know that earth structures such as embankment, highways, railways, and canals lose soil obtained from borrow pits compulsorily has to be compacted to increase its density, and hence its shearing strength and also required to lower the compressibility. These operations makes the project highly expensive, which increases the cost of construction. From the late contemporary decades, we can make a note of rigorous studies that has been conducted, and till date, waste generated from the construction, slag obtained from blast furnace, coal fly ash, and bottom ash are proven as a suitable for use in several places as a substitute for aggregate in road embankments, pavement constructions, laying of foundations, and also in structural buildings. Here, silica fume is a byproduct which is obtained from as a material from silicon and ferrosilicon alloys. So it is in our present days, there is a very big responsibility of a civil engineer to use industrial waste materials as soil stabilizers to avoid negative environmental impact. So coming for certain literature reviews, these are the literature reviews, how the silica fume can be utilized in the stabilization properties. So directly going for my objective of the project, to determine the engineering properties of the BC soil. First of all, I determined the engineering properties of the BC soil. Next, the engineering properties of the BC soil stabilized with silica fume for structural applications. So this is the methodology: collection of the BC soil from the local Belgavi region of Karnataka, pulverization and preparation of dry samples as per IS codes. Properties of BC soil were studied. Index properties of stabilized BC soil with silica fume with varying percentages. The compaction and strength properties were studied. So these are the methodology. Using different tests were carried out using the IS code procedures. Next, this is the properties that which has been identified for the black cotton soil. So according to this properties, the classification of the soil was came to be known as CH, that is highly compressible clay. So these are the index properties of the BC soil stabilized with the silica fume with varying percentage of 5% up to 40%. So these are the specific gravity curve wherein at 10% I got it as a peak value, that is on addition of 10% of silica fume, 2.83 was the specific gravity achieved, and later with the increase in the percentage of the silica fume replacement by the BC soil, the specific gravity goes on decreasing. So this is with respect to permeability. The optimum value, that is the least value for the permeability, was achieved at 10%, and further increase in the percentage of the silica fume, the amount of permeability goes on increasing. So the liquid limit and all the Atterberg limits, that is liquid limit, plastic limit, and plasticity index, and also the shrinkage limit, showed that at 10% the value decreased, and further increase in the percentage of the silica fume, it goes on increasing. So these are the compaction properties, wherein this is the most common important property in case of the construction of the roads. So here the achievement of the maximum dry density was seen at 10% with a 1.48 gram per cc at 10% of addition or replacement of the silica fume. Further replacement of the silica fume showed that there is decrease in the value of the maximum dry density. So this is the value of OMC, that is optimum moisture content. For 10%, the optimum moisture content obtained was 22.20%, whereas on further increase, it showed the increasing trend. So these are the strength parameters, that is the unconfined compressive strength for day 1, 7 days and 28 days of curing were studied. The shear parameters using the direct shear test for cohesion and angle of internal friction, and the CBR test was conducted for both unsoaked and soaked conditions. So these are the graphs that has been obtained for unconfined compressive strength, which is a greater parameter in case of construction of the road work. So here, in case of unconfined compressive strength, the 10% replacement of silica fume was found to be peak value, and it gave a good strength at 10% replacement, and further increase in the silica fume replacement in BC soil, it showed a gradual reduction. So hence, I can say that the UCS at 10% can give you a good result. So in case of cohesion, the value of cohesion showed least at 10%, and further increase showed that the value of cohesion goes on increasing. Whereas the angle of internal friction goes on decreasing below 10%, and the peak value of angle of internal friction was obtained at 10% replacement of the silica fume. So coming for the main parameter for the design of the flexible pavement, wherein we are going to consider the CBR value as the optimum value. So here, when 10% of silica fume was replaced by the BC soil, the values obtained for the unsoaked condition was 12.55%, and for soaked condition it was 5.20%, which proved to be a good result for stabilization of the BC soil. So coming for the conclusions, we can say that the specific gravity of BC soil stabilized with silica fume reaches its peak value at a 10% replacement level. Permeability of BC soil reaches its least value at 10% replacement by silica fume. The liquid limit, plastic limit, plasticity index, and the shrinkage limit, which are totally to be taken as the Atterberg limits, proved to be the lowest value at a 10% replacement level. The maximum dry density of the BC soil stabilized with silica fume was obtained at 10% replacement level, and the unconfined compressive strength was found to be 10% as the optimum, and the CBR values are also proved the value to be higher at 10%, whereas the cohesion value reaches its least value and phi reaches its higher value at 10% replacement of the silica fume in the BC soil. So from these above conclusions, I can conclude that the replacement of the silica fume in a black cotton soil for achieving a good result, good engineering geotechnical results for stabilization of the road can be achieved at 10% replacement level in BC soil. So these are the certain references which we have used in our study, and with this I'm going to conclude my presentation. Thank you, sir. Is there any doubts or any questions? Please, you can ask. Thank you, sir.
Sir, I'm present, sir. Present, sir. Is it visible, sir? Good afternoon, everybody. I am Dr. Uma Dikshit, Assistant Professor from University PG College, Secunderabad, and my co-author, Dr. V. Kiran from Department of Mathematics, University College of Science, Osmania University. So this is the abstract we have, wherein I would just read the end, what we did in the paper. The earlier authors have proved the condition that LP spaces are contained in LQ spaces using the other terminology of the inclusion mappings, whereas we will be using other terminology of measurable sets and prove those conditions. So the introduction, let X be a non-empty set, A is a sigma algebra of subsets. Sigma algebra means a non-empty collection, sigma of subsets of X, which will be under the operations either complement, countable unions, or countable intersections. And mu is a positive measure. Positive measure means a function from measurable sets to a non-negative real number. So in fact, it forms a vector space which is known as a measure space. The members of this class A are called measurable sets. Now supposing this is a measure space and V denotes the space LP mu, where P is taken in this way. P is finite. P less than infinity means we are just taking it as finite. It is not some infinite number. Then a measurable function f on x is said to be in LP mu if this is actually a definition from the textbook only. So these are the few definitions which I have used about the LP norm definition, mu measurable definition, where if 0 is less than mu of E is finite, then it is called an atom. If for any mu measurable subset E1 of E, either mu of E1 will be 0 or mu of E1 will be mu of E, in the sense that there cannot exist a subset in between. That's the meaning over here. And these are the two lemmas earlier proved by other authors. I have mentioned the reference numbers. So we have used this lemma and changed the conditions. Like I was mentioning, this LP mu subset LQ mu. The similar condition is proved by other author using the inclusion mappings. Whereas what we are going to do is LP mu is contained in LQ mu if any collection of disjoint measurable sets of positive measure is finite. Means there cannot be infinite collection of disjoint measurable sets. So the proof, we are taking the contradictory. Supposing if possible, there is a sequence of disjoint measurable sets which is not 0 for infinitely many n. So I'm not saying it is finite over here. That is, there is an increasing sequence nk of natural numbers such that we have these measures mu nk is less than 1 by k cube. Then mu of en is tends to 0 as n tends to infinity. Just the explanation part I have given here. I'm talking about disjoint measurable sets. So let us take a disjoint function h of x. If you see here the way it is defined, it is k if x belongs to enk, and it is 0 if it does not belongs to the remaining. Okay, so we have taken the disjoint one. Then clearly h is not in L infinity u. We are giving we have taken the definition here. Lebesgue measure integral h d mu is sigma k equals to 1 to infinity h d mu. And we have defined here k. So k comes over here. Mu of enk is definition. It is less than 1 by k cube. We have it over here 1 by k cube. So it is finite. So we got that h is in L1 mu. This is what was L1 mu over here. And h is not in L infinity u. So that L1 mu is not contained in L2 mu. That is, LP mu cannot be in LQ mu whenever P is less than Q. So unless the condition holds. That is, any collection of disjoint measurable sets must be finite only. The next theorem, similar condition again, LP mu subset LQ mu, we will prove it in other way using some sequences. These were about disjoint measurable sets. We have taken the collection of disjoint measurable sets here. Here we were talking about this disjoint sequences which are bounded over here. So once again we are taking LP mu contained in LQ mu and again taking the contradiction. Suppose that there is a disjoint sequence and it diverges to infinity, because I am actually supposed to prove that it is bounded. So I cannot say it tends to infinity, but we are assuming like that. So without loss of generality, mu of En is strictly increasing. Naturally, it is diverging, so it is increasing, and mu of En is less than 1. So we define an interval. We will construct an interval and use induction process, proving that mu of En belongs to Ek for n greater or equals to 1. So as you see, we have proved it for equals to 1. We proved it that it is true for n minus 1 and concluded that it definitely belongs to this interval of En over here. So mu of Ehn belongs to Ikn. Once again, we define a sequence in this way, Gx, again taking a disjoint sequence and calculate the positive measure for that. So what we see over here is this turns out to be a geometric series, okay, where this 2 power n is less than 1. So that it becomes a geometric series, and hence because it is 2 power n is less than 1, it converges. I have just written the explanation part over there. And if I take the other one, mod G power P, actually norm, we call it as norm, it is diverging. So in this case, we got G belongs to LQ mu, but G does not belongs to LP mu. That means LP mu is subset of LQ mu. That is what we had to prove over here in our theorem, that if we take. So these are the two theorems which we, though we have taken the condition from the other paper, but they have proved a different terminology, and we have proved using two different terminologies over here. These are the references and the papers of other authors who have also used other methods to do them. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. I'm presenting. Sir, is my screen visible? PPT visible? So I have put all the inputs in one single slide. And I'm Dr. Padmavati, from Associate Professor from Sri Satya Sai Institute of Higher Learning, Anantapur. And co-author is Dr. Vani Shri. She's Associate Professor, CVR College of Engineering. And our research topic is talent acquisition, study on efficacy of recruitment process. As you all know, today it is very dynamic and volatile business environment. And the business today is posing several challenges for the organization. And this can be overcome only if they have a resilient human capital. And today employees are the major contributors to the success of an organization because they are the differentiating factor that ultimately manages the entire business. And let it be technological advancements or disruptions or delighting customers or retaining employees, if you have a very strong base of employees, you can face any challenges. For example, if you take the different business models like Uber and Ola, or if you take Swiggy and Zomato, there is no much difference in their processes or in their product. But what makes their business so different is the human capital, that is the people who makes the difference. And that's what we talk about, something called as a golden triangle, which comprises of people, process, and product, and people stays in the top of the triangle. And keeping this in mind, and to have good set of people inside the organization, the talent acquisition becomes an important strategy to a greater extent to make recruitment effective.
And this study is an attempt to understand the talent acquisition strategy followed by companies in present scenario, and also to identify the best practices that can help them to get best talent. Moving on to the research methodology, after reviewing several literatures, we have come to a conclusion and we framed a self-structured questionnaire and we made it a standard questionnaire for talent acquisition. And this is used as a primary source of data collection. And our sample size was around 64 HR executives and functional managers across India. And we have also taken some samples abroad. Okay? And to support the quantitative analysis, we also went on interviewing 5 HR executives, and we collected their opinion about talent acquisition process in their companies. And we used quantitative analysis, we used percentage analysis, Pearson correlation test, and chi-square test. We used SPSS package to come to a conclusion. And for qualitative data, we used MaxQDA software. We developed Max Maps with which we triangulated the quantitative analysis and qualitative analysis, and we came to a conclusion through concurrent triangulation methodology. And coming to the objective of the study aims at the talent acquisition process followed by the companies in the present scenario. And we also looked upon the employer branding, pre-boarding, and candidate sourcing to increase the efficacy of the recruitment process. Moving on to the findings of the study, the major findings are talent acquisition is a challenge for technical and management positions. Size or the nature of the company has no relationship with the talent acquisition. And other than this, there are a lot of factors which influence talent acquisition, like talent shortage, poor sourcing techniques, poor candidate experience, communication gap between the hiring manager and functional managers, and inefficient recruitment process and inability to use data properly. And apart from this, we also found external recruiting and employee referral is the most preferred method. However, 41% of the recruiters still depend on internal recruitment, and 31% of the respondents use internal as well as outsourcing. And employer branding is being the most encouraged factor in hiring, as it gives recognition to the company and creates a corporate image in the market which attracts right talent to the organization. And employee effectiveness is positively driven by pre-boarding. Many of them felt that a pre-boarding will boost their employee commitment, increases employee retention rate, and also a sense of belongingness to the organization. Apart from this, using Max Map, we generated some interesting findings like talent acquisition is a challenge because it is hard to find a person in a niche area, and there is a lot of huge risk because of financial as well as human cost involved. And since market today is such that the job seekers choose their employer of choice, and very few people tend to work with big brands, and the companies with less market share will suffer from the talent shortage. And maximum rated method to source candidate is through social media, that is LinkedIn and Twitter, and employee referrals. And many of the interviewers suggested that they look into the recruiters, that is candidates' CV. CV is becoming a very important source of hiring. They look into the objective and their formatting style, etc. in CV. And several companies attract talent using hackathons, competitions, kiosks, attending college fairs, and having their own employer brand. And most of the respondents have stressed conducting background check is very important. And all the respondents agreed that passive candidates are adding a lot of value to their organization. So instead of working on somebody who is very actively participating in applying for the job, search for passive candidates so that you can improve the best, you can have a best hire for your organization. And coming to the last part of my discussion, we have come out with a model for all the companies to follow, to make their hiring process more effective. So what they have to do is like they have to move from basic and transactional approach of hiring to more integrated and personalized and digital enhanced approach. They can go for new techniques such as Google Hires, chatbots to attract Gen Z and millennials who are actively participating in all those things. And companies can get started with their content marketing by talking about their philanthropic initiative, awards, blog posts, etc. And develop talent acquisition managers by providing effective and continuous training to them, and train them for the best recruiting skills. And also concentrate on employer branding, create a positive candidate approach. Keeping this in mind, we are presenting a model, and we have developed a model which you can see it in the slide. That is two things. One is pre-recruitment phase and recruitment phase. Pre-recruitment phase, the employer need to concentrate on integrating talent acquisition process with business goals. And from this, he has to develop the objectives and job descriptions. And in recruitment phase, as you see in the diagram, they can concentrate on the four aspects of attract, hunt, cultivate, and hire. When coming to attract, the first step is in getting the right person hired for the job is to attract people. So companies must spread a lot of awareness and knowledge about themselves and required job role if they really wanted to hire the best talent for their organization. And they should be promoting their employer brand, and they have to present their employee value proposition. As in marketing, we do customer value proposition. And second is hunting. Attracting people towards the company helps it to build a tight talent pipeline. And therefore, it enables companies to easily hunt and source talent from the talent pipeline without spending extra time or resources. And they can effectively use data analytics and predictive analytics for hunting and sourcing their candidates. And third step is to cultivate a good candidate experience through word of mouth marketing, increasing the talent pipeline. And in order to make this process a positive experience for candidates, company can make the process easy by keeping the process short and very simple. And the last step is you go for hiring. The step involves reviewing applications, interviewing candidates, selecting the right person, and extending offers and onboarding services. And this model, which we have developed, is something similar to Unilever talent acquisition model, which was created by Accenture company. And when Accenture used this model, they were able to find out the following benefits. The average cost of sourcing candidate was significantly reduced by 51% from 2012 to 2014. And the overall expenditure in the process has reduced 39%. And the agency expenditure has reduced 47%. And company was able to fill 84% of external roles through direct sourcing. The time to fill position has reduced by 40%. The hiring manager satisfaction score has improved with 4/5 rating, and the candidate satisfaction score has improved with 4.2/5. So this research actually contributes to two set of people. One is the organization. They can use this model to make their talent acquisition strategy more effective and to hire the right talent and to retain the right talent. The other part of this research is also dedicated to the students and the employees who are trying to apply for a job, and they get an idea about through which source they have to apply for a job. For example, LinkedIn is the most preferred site by today's employers. So LinkedIn, if you post our resume in LinkedIn, hiring happens very fast. So the research focuses on giving benefit to an employee as well as an employee. Thank you, sir.
Sir, 861 is ready. I can start? Okay, yes. Just a minute, sir. Here आहे. थांबा. Is it visible, sir? Okay. So good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Varsha Pimprai, going to present a pedagogical approach for online lab conduction during COVID. Okay. Yes, just a minute. Is it visible now? Okay. So, good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to present on pedagogical approach for online lab conduction during COVID pandemic situation. This is nothing but the agenda. As you all aware that COVID-19 was very pandemic situation and it affected badly for all the areas in the world. Education field was also not exceptional in that case. Rather saying about traditional teaching, online teaching or virtual teaching was major challenge for teacher as well as for the students to adopt those changes. In case of practical knowledge or hands-on practice of the assignments, teacher as well as students were facing lots of challenges. How to do the experimental methods, execution process when there is no physical communication with the students. So to make that concept or hands-on practice for the students more effective, more innovative, we started with one method which is nothing but pedagogical method for lab conduction. So this is nothing but the methodology which we have proceed. We have created the Google Classroom batch wise. For every student, we have given the laboratory login user and password. With that particular login, the students were accessing the batch wise classrooms for respective batches. We are providing the guidelines for performing every lab assignments, and we are providing some more extra materials like videos, manuals, sample output, what we are expecting in that assignment. With those assignments, with those guidelines, with those study materials, they are coming prepared for their lab turns. During that lab turns which were assigned to students, we have assigned faculty members also. So it was nothing but online, but total 2 hours laboratory session, the faculty was also there and students were performing. In between, if the students while performing the assignment they are getting any kind of difficulty, queries, we are solving it online, but we are making it available that this faculty will be there for throughout the 2 hours. To make it is more innovative or more what you can say effective, we have used GDB compilers, online editors, some visualization tools also, so that students will understand how the coding was there, how debugging can be done, how step by step program creation will be done. After performing the lab assignment, the students are posting their assignments on Google Classroom for the evaluation. But it is not offline evaluation, it was again online evaluation. We are providing some quiz, some viva voce questions we are asking them throughout that particular turn. Along with that, we are checking their program online. So wherever we find corrections, wherever we are thinking that this is not right, this is wrong, then we are informing them at that time only and during that duration only. So with respect to that, the submissions after changes, they are doing the submission, they are posting their assignments on the Google Classroom. These are some screenshots for Google Classroom. We have created batch-wise classrooms so that respective student of that particular batch will log in. After login, that particular student will see all the materials for the assignment which they want to perform. Okay, so this screenshot is nothing but about what are the different materials for the different assignments. This is nothing but how students are posting their assignments after performing, after completion of those assignments. We have taken different kind of quizzes also, so that for the betterment of for better understanding of that particular assignments. This is nothing but how we have maintained the attendance online, as well as we have taken the viva voce for that particular assignment. We have put the marks on that. These are some results in the sense that we have taken the feedback from the students. Did they like that particular method or approach of doing hands-on practicals, online virtual methods? Did they solve did they solve all their queries or not? So we got very good feedback. Some of the students have mailed us after conduction of that particular lab that it was, even if it was a online or virtual method, but it was very satisfactory, and it was not like we were feeling that it is a realistic approach of conduction of lab. Okay. So students' positive response made this particular method a very successful. These are the references. Yes, that's all from my side. Thank you. practice. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon. Can you hear? Yeah, can you hear me? Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sure. Is my screen visible for you? Hello. But my screen. Okay. Yes, sir. Yeah. So my topic is and on road index of some graphs. Actually, this is the chemical graph theory. So here the abstract of my paper, and I'll introduce myself assistant professor in
Madam, there is trouble in your mic.
And the main so that's in terms of graph, which is a degree-based topological index is defined as square root of minimum of di dj by maximum of dj dj, where here the di and dj in Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Seconds. Yeah, now can you see my screen, sir? Yeah. The bridge of the graph is, it is actually the connecting, you're having edges in the graph G1, G2, G3 and so on. And there is a line that is the edge which joins G1 and G2 is called the bridge of the graph. That is definition 4. And next one is definition 5, which is the main findings of our paper. That is, the min-max product index of the graph is that MMSD of G is summation U belongs to E of G, square root of minimum of D of U comma D of V by maximum of D of U by D of V, and it is denoted by, hello, it is psi of DU comma DV. And this is the Fullerian graph. And this is the Fullerian graph, where it is a cubic polyhedral graph which all have 5 or 6 cycles. And this, for this graph only, we have found out the min-max index. And the theorem 1 is, let G-max index of G is 3n by 2. So this is the proof, whereas definitely as defined, hello, sir. So can you hear me? Yeah. So the min-max index is actually a Fullerian graph. You will have that is, as by the definition, it is square root of minimum of 3 of V by 3 of comma V, which is equal to 1, and the number of edges in the Fullerian graph is 3n by 2. So by the findings of the definition, we have 3n by 2 into square root of minimum of 3 comma 3 by maximum of 3 comma 3, which is 3n by 2. And the next theorem is, let G be a Fullerian graph, and the min-max product index of the graph is G congruent G is MMSD of G is equal to 2 into MMSD of G plus square root of 3 plus 1. And also in case of a bridge graph, we will have MMSD of G is equal to, we will add those two graphs, G1 plus G2 plus chi of D of V1 plus chi of D of D2 plus etc. And these are the conclusions and references. Yes, sir. Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.